Hey guys, this is SF, and the lethal dungeon for the Ragnarok series is Ymir, and my team is Vodka, and then Dante, and then Arcadia, and then Lancelot. Most people don't really like using the Arcadia way, like some people might call it, and some people will either stack Lancelots or stack Zhao Yu's. The Ascended Zhao Yu has a Slayer onto Ymir. And then Guinevere with the weak point bump combo, weak point shockwave. But I really like Arcadia just because it's a little bit easier if you can get the hang of it. So what is great, like as you can see there, all the guys just dropped. And that's what you really have to do in this dungeon, is to clear out the specters because they keep reviving each other. And they'll shoot out damage walls for your team, against your team. And how does it work? Of course, people that know what Arcadia's bump combo do is once it hits the shortest distance enemy, and shortest distance enemy, it will hit all the enemies of the same class. So for specters, of course, it's all specters, and basically his bump combo can one-shot them, and if they can actually hit them. Of course, there are demons there, so it won't. If the demons is the shortest distance of Arcadia, then it gets a little bit sketchy there, because you really want to clear all those specters in one shot, because all these other guys have really bad speeds or just can't one shot them. And I purposely brought Dante and brought Valchica for that purpose, because the first monster that Arcadia hits with his bump combo will not get one shotted. The other monsters of the same class will get one shot because the weak spots are in the middle, and the pulse will also hit the middle of the monster, and then it basically attacks the weak point as well, and then deals more damage, which basically one shots them. I purposely brought those two monsters just because even if they hit the weak spot, they will not one shot them, whereas Lancelot will be able to one shot if they go through the weak spot. So basically, one swipe through the weak spot from Dante or Valchica, plus the initial damage from Arcadia, will be able to clear off the first specter that Arcadia hits, and then of course it spreads to the other ones, which will one shot. So that's why I brought these guys. If you don't really like to go that way, then I do not really recommend Dante or Valchica in this team. If you don't really care about the Arcadia way, then you'll probably bring like no warp pierce water monsters like Sherbert. Okay, and then that's it for the mini boss. I went so much in explaining this that I didn't really tell what the other stuff do. So demons will do a volatile blast just like demons always do, but they're not one shot. It is 44k. It is 44k, so if you have a lot of HP, then you can always take it, but I really recommend you do not, because Ymir does do a lot of damage after the first round of attacks before he starts powering himself up. Lasers does not bad. There is a meteor that doesn't do that much either, but once he increases his attack, then it goes pretty bad for your team. And this is where I tank it. I do have hearts and I do have almost full HP, so I said why not. And also Ymir's weak points, like all the weak points in this dungeon, have increased effectiveness. So always aim for the weak points. That's why Pierce monsters is really good. That's why water monsters that's why you need Pierce monsters to one shot the specters. And that's why Guinevere is pretty OP, because her bump combo will directly aim for that weak point. Okay, that's a perfect angle for Lancelot. Like, Lancelot's pretty good because he can turn into a pierce every single turn, and he's also a bounce, which is really good for clearing the demons. Demons are usually either in pinch spots or wall pinches, or in corners where he can basically one shot, where Lancelot can just one shot kill them. Okay, next one, starting off with Dante. Arcadia is not in the best spot ever. So in this case, you just try to defeat the specters and make sure he doesn't, those specters do not shield their damage walls. Next one is Lancelot, so I didn't really care about the specters shooting out damage, shooting out damage walls. Okay. And this is where I stretch out because I'm taking so much damage, and this is the although I didn't want to do it, but it is the only way I will survive for the next few turns. Dante's okay for the chain lightning, because chain lightning always goes to the middle, where the weak points for the specters are. It will one shot the specters if it's the first or second specter. If it's the third, then it falls off. They will still be alive, so be careful of that when you're shooting. You can also bring Daigoku for that same purpose if you don't have Dante, but Daigoku is a bounce monster, so be careful of that. Okay, last bar, starting off with Lancelot, and let's see if the pulse will go through Ymir or the Spectre, and it goes to the Spectre. Good. As you can see, like once those Spectres die, it's really easy because you don't have to panic attack and try to clear the Spectres, because a lot of them usually can't really die in one hit unless you're in perfect positions. So that's why I really like really like Arcadia in this dungeon. Okay, just stretch out for the end. Of course, you kind of have to be wary of where the Spectres are for the next stage, so you can position Arcadia for it and make sure his pulse does not latch onto the boss or the demons or the drone. But I'm not going to stretch out because that's an easy weak point bash. So that's the difficulty in it, but the reward is really big and a lot easy to clear out the boss. Okay, just stretch out because I don't want the Spectres to be reviving all four at the same time. And last but not least, Dante. There we go. So Arcadia is pretty much OP in this dungeon, but if you don't have Arcadia, then kind of move on to like D'Artagnan or Zhao Yu or Guinevere or even Lancelot to deal with the Spectres. But it is a lethal dungeon, so it is relatively hard. That's pretty much it for me. I hope you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.